Screwed from 2000 is my VHS watch for the week. This is a movie that I watched a lot when I was younger, but I haven't seen in a very long time. As you can see here, it has an all-star cast. This VHS tape is really, the sleeve is really beat up, but the tape itself is in really good condition, except for this label that is falling off and just got caught. But it had good picture, looked good on the VCR, on the CRT TV. Now, as I said, I've seen this one many times back in the past, but it was overshadowed by Norm MacDonald's other movie, Dirty Work, which I think is way more well-known. But having rewatched Screwed for the first time in a very long time, I actually have a hot take, and I think it might be a better movie overall than Dirty Work, even though I love them both, of course. In this movie, Norm MacDonald plays the lowly butler of an evil CEO of a pie company, Miss Croc. She's played by Elaine Stritch. Elaine Stritch definitely understood the assignment because she just does this over-the-top, evil, heartless and cruel act as Norm MacDonald's boss. So he concocts a plan with Dave Chappelle to kidnap Miss Croc's dog and ransom the dog off to raise enough money that they can both leave town and leave for a better life. And this falls into the same pattern as many screwball comedies that I've covered recently, where nothing goes to plan. And the comedy comes from our characters digging themselves deeper and deeper into this hole of stupidity and really bad ideas. Danny DeVito plays this disgusting ne'er-do-well undertaker, and Sarah Silverman is in the movie. This definitely has one of the most all-time casts as far as turn-of-the-century comedies go. And because it's rated PG-13, they had to be a little bit smarter about the jokes they use, so there's nothing over-the-top and gross that distinguishes it a little bit from Dirty Work, which is also rated PG-13 but leans way more into crude humor and jokes than this movie does. If you're a fan of Norm MacDonald or Dave Chappelle, you've probably already seen this movie, but if not, you have a chance to experience two of the greats on screen working off each other, and I think it's a brilliant movie. The Bride Wore Black from 1968 was directed by Francois Truffaut and stars Jeanne Moreau as Julie, a woman whose husband was mysteriously shot in broad daylight at their wedding, and her plot for revenge against the men who did it. Francois Truffaut should be a familiar name to most cinephiles, and though I'm not a massive expert of his work, I have seen The 400 Blows and Jules and Jim, though it's been a long time for both. I actually went into this just looking for a cool revenge thriller, which I had heard that this was, and boy does it deliver on that front. The film starts rather mysteriously with Julie trying to hurl herself out of a window, and the pieces of the puzzle of what put her in that state are methodically fed through us while we witness her working through her hit list. I've said this a million times, I love dangerous women in movies, and our main character Julie definitely fits the bill. Like any good revenge movie, she's cold and calculating, but you totally get where she's coming from, and the way she deals with a few of her victims in particular are especially unnerving, though others, with one in particular, falls a little short. However, with all that said, as a whole, the movie kicks ass. I loved it, and so did my wife, and I would recommend it to anybody who likes good for her movies, dangerous women movies, revenge movies. If you haven't seen The Bride Wore Black, you definitely have to cross it off your list. Les Samurai from 1967 is another classic French film, this time directed by Jean-Pierre Melville. Like many people, I found out about this movie because I'm a fan of Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai, which is a Jim Jarmusch film. And when I was listening to the commentary on that Blu-ray, he mentioned what a big inspiration Les Samurai was to Ghost Dog. And I would say if you're a fan of Ghost Dog, you definitely need to see Les Samurai. It has a very similar plot where a stone-cold hitman leaves a witness at one of his hits, and it causes trouble for him with both his employers and the police in this case. This movie is astonishingly good. It's about as near perfect as I can think, and I don't often go there with movies. I can usually find some kind of flaw or something that could be improved, but this was one of the most easy 5 out of 5 stars instantly that I've seen in a while. Everything about this movie is so cool, especially the lead performance by Alain Delon, but I was also a fan of the police chief who was trying to pin this particular murder on our main character and is not afraid to bend the rules. There's some really good procedural catch and release, cat and mouse stuff here, but the real story is about the loneliness of our protagonist, a theme that was carried over into Ghost Dog. But again, I just felt like everything in this film was so cool, whether it was moving fast, moving slow, the moments of quiet, the moments of music, and this movie is scored with some very interesting music that has aged quite well. I just really dug this one. It's one of the best movies I've seen in a while. I can't wait to pick up the Criterion Blu-ray on the next sale, and I highly recommend if you like hitman movies, if you like crime stuff, procedural stuff, and aren't afraid to dig into something that's not an action-packed extravaganza, because this isn't one, then you should definitely check out Les Samurai. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for watching to the end. If you like these short movie reviews I do, I have a whole playlist of them on my channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.